Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is looking to be the last tentpole release for the Nintendo Switch in 2017. A game that I personally am really looking forward to. And I'm really hoping it doesn't suck. Because if it sucks, Nintendo, you better be ready. I will torture your asses to the moon! But let's hope that's not the case. Before I talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, when it releases on next week I believe, I want to talk about the Xenoseries. But before we can talk about the Xenoseries, the games of Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii and Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U, I want to talk about the history because the Xenoseries is a series that has expanded many console generations and many different developers, but never really carrying the same characters from game to game. And it all begins on the Nintendo Entertainment System with Xenomorph. A game that has absolutely nothing to do with any of this, but it begins with Xeno. The series really begins on the PlayStation 1 with Xenogears, published by Squaresoft. Originally, it was the pitch for Final Fantasy VII, written by Mr. Takahashi Tetsuya, a man who's considered to be the brainchild behind the Xenoseries. While the pitch was considered good, it was a bit too dark and a bit too god-killing and a bit too what the fuck are you on right now for Final Fantasy standards. Thankfully though, Square thought the concept was good enough to be its own game, and it became its own game in Xenogears, released in 1998. And people liked it. While not quite on the same level as the Final Fantasy series or some of the other games on the PlayStation 1, like Suikoden, it is a worthy purchase for your PlayStation 1 collection. After the 2000s started, Takahashi was kind of in a bit of a dilemma. He had two options: either stick with Square, as they wanted to focus on the Final Fantasy series, or follow his dream, chase an ambition, and start his own game company and make the games he wants to make. He chose the latter and made Monolith with several other game developers at the time. And they started publishing games underneath Namco's label, and they made some pretty good games. They made Namco X Capcom, a game that was infamously left in Japan, and the woefully underrated Bankaito series, a game that I'm really hoping gets remade. But the main star of the show here is the Xenosaga. It was originally planned as a series of 6 games, count them, 3 on each hand, or 5 on one hand, and 1 on the other. 6 games that would have expanded many themes such as space, god-killing, and is it masturbation if I fuck a robot that looks like me? I think there are better words for those themes, but I'm freestyling here, everybody. Bear with me. This whole series had to start with somewhere, right? And it started with Xenosaga Episode 1, released in 2002, I believe. And it was a hit. It sold well, was well received by the critics, well received by the fans, and was a great start for the series. Unfortunately though, the good times were not to last. Xenosaga Episode 2 came out a few years later and changed things up, but not for the better. For one, they changed the art style to more of a realistic form instead of this anime art style, and wasn't really everyone's cup of tea. They also changed the battle system, which again, wasn't everyone's cup of tea. The end result was the game having critical success, but not making enough money at retail for Namco and Monolith's liking. Thankfully though, the game didn't sell that shit, and we got a Xenosaga Episode 3, which unfortunately became the last in the series, so up yours to your 6-part game series, assholes. Xenosaga 3 came out after 2, and while it fixed everything that was wrong with Xenosaga 2, it had better gameplay, it had better graphics, better voice acting, just all around a better game, and considered to be the best of the trilogy, it didn't sell as well as Namco wanted it to. This combined with the fact that Monolith's other major game at the time, Bankaito's Origins, also sold really poorly, wasn't really good for Monolith's morale. This is also being combined with the fact that at the time, Bandai and Namco were merging together, so that meant that money, manpower, and morale was all being spread way too thin. And that's not good. That's boo-boo. Thankfully though, Namco decided to sell some of its stock to Nintendo for Monolith, and basically Nintendo said to Monolith, hey guys, if you come work for us, you can make whatever games you want, but they have to be on Nintendo. Okay, and as a result, we started getting Monolith games underneath Nintendo's label. And while we had a few games such as Disaster, Day of Reckoning, the main game here is Xenoblade Chronicles. Originally not titled Xenoblade Chronicles, it was called Monado at the beginning, announced in E3 2009. It was changed to Xenoblade Chronicles during development in order to honor Takahashi's legacy, and I think it's a better name and a more fitting name for the game itself. And it was released in 2010 in Japan, 2011 for the PAL regions of Europe and Australia. But where's the US release at? where is it at? For some reason, Nintendo of America wasn't interested in publishing Xenoblade Chronicles in the United States. I think it was due to timing because at that time in 2011, 2012, Nintendo was trying to phase out the Wii for the Wii U, which foul out that did because the Wii U sold fairly poorly. But whenever a game that looks really cool is not coming to America, there's outrage, grr, anger, eat these downvotes. That worked for Star Wars Battlefront 2. However, you don't go to Nintendo with all kinds of piss and vinegar. No, you have to be smooth. You have to be calm, like the rain. Introducing Operation Rainfall, an operation, I guess, whose whole point was to bring over 3 games to the States, those games being The Last Story, Pandora's Tower, and of course, the Xenoblade Chronicles to the United States. And thankfully, they made enough noise to get Nintendo's attention. While Nintendo didn't say it was Operation Rainfall that got their attention and motivated them to bring the games to the States, it could easily be inferred that their noise did influence Nintendo in some way. And thankfully, we got those awesome 3 titles into the States. And now that's where the story should end, right? Xenoblade Chronicles comes out, everyone's happy, but the story doesn't end there. No. The only retailer that was willing to carry Xenoblade Chronicles was GameStop. Yeah, GameStop, those bastards. What they decided to do, not only was stock fairly low, whenever they did get stock in, it was way jacked the fuck up. Like, instead of $50, they'd be like $60 or $70 or even more. So that's shit, so you have to pay more for this game. While I think the game is worth the price of admission, it is a bit hard to swallow, a $70 game. Even though games are now more or less $70, plus more when you factor in DLC and microtransactions. But we're not here to talk about that. Thankfully though, after the years passed, Xenoblade Chronicles a massive fan base, Shulk gets announced for Smash 4, and we get Xenoblade Chronicles on the 3DS and digitally on the Wii U. Whew, that's a lot to go over for one game franchise. Even though it's not really a franchise in the same sense of Sonic the Hedgehog or Mario, it's a franchise that has existed in different forms and embodies the same themes and gameplay styles throughout its existence. Tune in next week when we're going to talk about both of these legendary games of Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii and Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U. Stay tuned, fam. You're really gonna feel it.